In other business news, the National Bargaining Council for the Road Freight and Logistics Industry has warned today that it may be necessary to shut down the industry until senseless attacks are stopped. The Bargaining Council says attacks on trucks and truckers have cost innocent lives and billions of rand in terms of infrastructure. In a statement, the Bargaining Council said it was perturbed by protest marches and a shutdown that took place at its offices last week. The organisers had been interdicted from doing so. They are reportedly from the Truck Drivers Forum that reportedly represents unemployed truck drivers. The Bargaining Council says past activities of the forum have included the closure of highways and the burning of trucks. Let's speak now to Jack Mazibuko, chairperson of the National Bargaining Council for Road Freight and Logistics Industry. Mr. Mazibuko, thank you for being with us. So, am I right to say you're threatening to shut down the industry, but presumably the members of your council want to work? They're actually concerned about the disruptions thus far.
No, thank you very much for having the council in your show. It is true that as the council, we took that decision to shut down the operation should it happen that the constant attack is taking place on the council. And the reason why we took that decision, last year, about 2021, we entered into a wage negotiations with the employer. And we have engaged about the increase and other legislation that we think the employer need to consider. But above all, on what we have agreed upon was that the influx of foreign employees that have been employed by certain employers. To that point, we end up agreeing with the employer that as the council, we are not going employees that are undocumented within the industry.
Mr. Mazibuko, we lost you there. We couldn't hear you for a while, and this is very important. What have you, as truck drivers, then agreed with employers around foreign truck drivers? Just repeat that, please. I'm saying that we have agreed as a party to the council during our negotiations that we are not going to allow any employer to employ undocumented employees within the industry. And then the parties have reached consensus on that. We further agreed that we need to increase the wage increase of the truck drivers by 5%. And we've been constantly engaging with these associations that time to time are marching to the council and misleading the nation that the council is not taking the interest of the workers at heart. We must indicate that during last year, we obtained a court order that prohibits this association from marching to the bargaining council. And at that time, the parties were still busy with the wage negotiations. The wage negotiations has been concluded. The minister has signed the agreement. So the agreement is in place. So we are very much worried that the council has been portrayed as an entity that is not taking the interest of the workers at heart. That is the concern of the parties to the council. And we have also responsibility as the party to council to protect our members, to also to protect the infrastructure. We've been raising this concern in a number of meetings that we have with different departments, Department of Labor, Department of Transport, Department of Home Affairs, Department of Police, but our concerns are not being given attention. But we see constant attacks. Our members have been shot at, the trucks has been banned. So we took a decision that should this thing happen, we'll be left with no option as the industry to shut down the operation so that people can see that we are very much serious about the constant attack on our members. When will that happen?
We have written a letter to the president and the ministers wherein we request them to urgently intervene into the problems that we are having. Should it happen that they did not intervene, the council will be left with no option but to shut down the entire industry.
All right, when we say the National Bargaining Council for Road Freight and Logistics Industry, who forms part of that council? Could we say that the majority of truckers on our roads are part of that council? And then you're saying that this disruptive body is the Truck Drivers Forum. So they are a different grouping. We're hearing that they're unemployed truckers. They're opposed to this wage agreement. I don't know why it would impact them if they're unemployed. Just tell us about your own bargaining council and then what you believe they stand for and who forms their membership.
The Bargaining Council for Road Freight and Logistics is a legally registered entity that consists of legally registered trade unions, employers associations. This entity is meant to deal with the interest of the workers in the industry, which include the mutual interest in a form of wage negotiations. And throughout the negotiations, we've been engaging with this association, begging them to come and join the council or to register a union so that they can form part of the bargaining council, and they completely refuse. But they want us to negotiate with them outside the legal provisions, and that's why we are saying we cannot be held at ransom by them. If they want to belong to the council, there is a law that they must follow. South Africa is based on its legislation. They must follow those legislations. They must register a union. They must form part to the council, and they must engage within the requirements of law.
Very quickly, do you believe that they were behind the attacks on truckers? We know that foreign truck drivers at some point were being targeted.
We cannot necessarily say that, but what we have noticed is that every time when there is a protest, the trucks have been banned, even though the police hasn't given us a report as to who are the perpetrators for now. But we have constantly noticed that every time when there is a protest, the trucks have been banned, workers have been shot at, and we are saying as the industry, enough is enough. We think we've been quiet for a very long time. We have embarked on a number of negotiations. We are at a point where we are saying our duty as the industry is to protect our members and also to protect the infrastructure within the.
All right, warning of a shutdown of the entire industry if things don't get better. Thank you very much, Jack Mazibuko, chairperson of the National Bargaining Council for the Road Freight and Logistics Industry.